This is Listen Lakeland, the show that keeps you up to date on all things happening in and around the Lakeland area. Here's your chance to plan your family activities and learn more about what your city government and your neighbors are doing to make Lakeland a great place to live, work, and play.
Hello, Lakeland. Thank you so much for joining us for the August edition of the Listen Lakeland radio show, a show highlighting people, places, activities, and organizations that make our community an exceptional place to call home. I'm Ashley Link, and I'm with Lakeland Vision. Recently, Lakeland Vision completed a vision refresh, and with your help, we took community input and feedback and developed a vision document that focuses on 4 key areas. 2 will be touched in today's segment: strong and safe neighborhoods and activities for a diverse community. A component of strong and safe neighborhoods is beautification. Specifically, our vision document states that Lakeland will be a clean, beautiful city centered around magnificent lakes, attractive streetscapes, quality architecture, and natural features. So much of this can be found at Lake Crago Park. And today I have Mike Moratz from the city's Parks and Rec team with me. Hi, Mike. How are you?
Hello. Good. How are you today?
Doing really well. Thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Absolutely.
Why don't you take some time and tell our audience who you are and what you do?
All right. Well, my name is Michael Moratz. I've been with the city for 18 plus years, and I'm currently the recreational superintendent. So I'm responsible for all the recreational buildings that include the rental facilities, downtown Lake Mirror, aquatics, Kelly Rec, Simpson Park, and Coleman Bush, and now our beautiful Lake Crago, which will be opening up soon.
Awesome. Thank you. First off, why don't you tell our listeners where Lake Crago Park is?
Okay, so Lake Crago is nestled back in between on the north side of Lakeland, up a Lakeland Hills Road, up 33. It is behind the Hollis Cancer Center. It is a beautiful piece of property. And like I said, it's nestled back in there. So if you drive past, you will not see it. You actually have to go into the park and drive a little bit, and then you will see this beautiful construction site.
Well, recently I had the opportunity to go on a tour with you. Thank you for taking me out. And what is really cool about the area is you say it's nestled back there, and it really is. You feel like you're away from the world there, which I think is really a unique aspect to the park.
Yes. I'll let you go.
You go ahead.
I was just gonna say, give you a little bit of history of it, and I know that you're gonna get into that. It is an old phosphate pit. It's a 60-acre pit that was left in the phosphate era. It's we calculate about 222 million gallons of water that are just filled with fish and gators and birds and all kinds of wildlife, and it makes for a beautiful setting. The actual building itself is 12,000 square feet, a little bit more. The actual whole park is over 100 acres, about 109 if I'm correct. We have a dog park that was put in there earlier and a bathroom. And so now we have started this process, and which is beautiful outdoor recreation facility.
You have started to talk a little bit about this, but lay it out for us. So when you go through the front gates, tell our audience what they'll see.
All right. So when you come into the park, you see this beautiful building. Like I said, architect was John Kirk. Him and Pam Page worked on this building together. Like I said, it's beautiful in every single detail, and I'll try to go in much as I can and describe what I can from what I see. And so when you first drive up, you see different angles and different stones and different metals and that kind of stuff. And once you get closer, you get to see the beautiful entrance, which is Alabama cedar. And the way the roof is arched, you walk in with stone columns in between you and old world lights on the side of the pillars. And you walk into the building to a nice fresh piece of polished concrete, which covers the hallway. And then to your right is your front desk check-in, where you will check in to do the activities or rentals or whatever you're here to do. We have 2 classrooms. We have a small classroom and a large classroom. Both classrooms have 2 70-inch TVs in there for presentations, for businesses or classes, whatever needs to be in there. We have a breezeway with very nice with drinking machines and lockers, which I'll explain later. We also have 2 very nice large bathrooms for event gatherings. And then you go down in the hallway, which I call the beauty room, or the big room. It's our grand area room or grand room, whatever you want to call it, and it overlooks the lake. Now, all the rooms look over the lake, but this room, as Ashley can attest, is amazing. It's a great view for weddings, for corporate venues or retreats. And I tell Ashley when I was in there before that, if someone's showing a presentation, when our focus is on the west wall, I'll actually be looking to the right, which is outside, because it's just so beautiful to look at, and there's so much going on. And like I said, it's a moving canvas with Lake Crego and its beauty.
Part of what is so unique about this building is all of those natural looking elements that you started to talk about. One of the things that I think is so neat is all around what I call it the pavilion and that's around the building. First of all, that pavilion goes all the way around the building, so it's really just breathtaking when you go out there. But it has stamped, am I saying this correctly, stamped cement sidewalks. So it looks like wood, and I actually had to go and feel it so that I would believe you that it was actually stamped cement. And then to the wood beams that you said, you also talked a little bit to me about what you had to do to weather some of the materials. Could you talk a little bit about the thought that went into the exterior of the building?
You got it. So, like Ashley said, the big room has that Alabama cedar inside, so it's very nice, and it comes out to the outside, and the outside is a lot of glass. It is stamped concrete patio, and the detail is so good that they even painted the nail heads to look like rusted nails to make it look like you're walking on an old wood. And when you get a chance to come to Crego, if you look at the side where it was stamped, it looks like the side of a timber from a tree. So it's hard to tell the difference, like you said, unless, like Ashley said, you actually touch it. One of the other elements that Pam and John did was they put a lot of nice light colored stone around it, so it makes it look very nice and old and outdoorsy per se. But one unique thing that I think that was done, which I'm very impressed with, was we took aluminum panels that we had, or metal panels that we had, and we laid them in the ground just on the grass for like 60 days and let them get all rusted up. And then those panels were put on the side of the east wall and the west wall. So it looks amazing. And when I go and give tours to people, I tell them, I say, you notice how when the water runs, it rusts the cement panels? And they're like, oh, that's a shame. Well, we actually painted those on the ground adjacent to the wall. So it looks like when the water hits it from a rainstorm, the rust runs out into on the patio. So it's just an effect that was done. Pam also did work with our parks crew, who I love. Kudos to them. Did an amazing job with the landscape. And when you guys get a chance to come out here, we will have labels for most of the trees and bushes and plants out here, so people see what is out here and what we plant. And like I said, they did an amazing job in a few days laying irrigation, and the way it's laid out is just incredible. All our sidewalks are lit, which is very unique for a park that we have. And we won't be open at night that much, but if you ever get a chance to see it at night with everything lit up, it's in a pretty amazing building.
On our way into the main entrance, you told me a story about how everything seemed meant to be. Could you tell our listeners that story too?
Yes. So I started with the city in 2001, 2002. And in 2003, I interviewed for a position, and they said, Lake Crago is going to be coming up soon. At that time, I was working at Simpson Park, going to go to Kelly Rec, and they mentioned how they were going to build a north side facility like the Kelly Recreation Complex with a giant recreational, fitness rooms and programmable rooms, and then a giant Olympic-sized pool. Well, that was the plan in 2003. And then it has since changed, and we just, we're in government, so money goes and, other projects for what's necessary. And finally, about 2 years ago, they decided, before that, they decided they're going to build an outdoor facility instead, which is something that we do not have in Lakeland. There is not a recreational facility on the lake anywhere. So this is a new programming for us, and a beautiful location and amazing opportunities for everything. And
I do think that, Mike, that is so interesting. One of the things that stuck out to me was this has been something that's been in the works since 2003, really.
Yes.
I mean, that's a long time to have a vision for something, and obviously the vision has changed over time. And I think, in my humble opinion, the product is just spectacular. Yes. You told us a little bit about the inside. When you walk inside, what is really so well done is the views. Like, this lake is gorgeous, and probably, I mean, I'm a lifelong Lakelander, and I have never been to this lake. I don't know what the access was like prior to the construction for the park, but it is a beautiful lake, and it has beautiful nature, and all the building just opens up to it, and the entire back of the building, like you said, is glass. So you have these gorgeous views from all angles of the building. Tell us a little bit about what you think or what you anticipate people using the facility for.
Great. Well, twofold. We are viewing it in three different ways. We're viewing it as a rental facility, programmable facility. Then we also have a vendor that we're working on for kayaks and canoes. So the first thing is the rental facility. It's an amazing.
Yeah, give me the first two first, and then we'll move outside with the boats.
You got it. So the rental facility, we actually have 5 different areas. Four different areas inside that we can rent, 3 different areas inside that we can rent. Sorry, I don't want to talk about the outside stuff yet. We have 3 different areas that we can rent inside. It's the 2 classrooms. One holds about 75, the other one holds about 50, and the big room holds about 120, based on what you want it for. But we are searching, and we are already in talks. We've already nailed some people down as far as doing yoga outside or doing yoga inside in the weather, working with Florida Fish and Wildlife on some of their classes that they would like to have out here, working with other groups that want to have retreats out here. And obviously the big thing is weddings. It's a gorgeous view for brides and grooms and their families. So that's the inside as far as rental is concerned. We also have a full kitchen that is inside adjacent to the big room. So it's very nice. And I don't know if you want me to talk about that now or you want me to wait. It's up to you, Ashley.
You can talk about catering, sure.
So the big room that we have, like I said, one whole wall overlooks the lake. It's just amazing. And adjacent to that is 2 sliding glass barn doors that is a walk-through kitchen for you to get your food or whatever you have to get through. But behind that is a full refrigerator, freezer, oven, sink, ice, everything that we have for caterers. We are not tied to a specific catering company, so whoever comes to rent it, they can bring their own caterer, and we go from there.
Now, tell me again, how many does a big room fit? What's capacity?
75, with everything that's going on now, it may change.
Sure.
But in a normal setting, it'd be 75 in the big room, 50 in the smaller room, and then 1 to 120 in the very large room.
And we talked too about how it's a perfect opportunity if you have a larger event than 120, you can spill over into this phenomenal patio area where you have big, huge fans to keep a breeze going for your guests. But there are some great opportunities for that as well.
Yes. Do you want me to get into the outside yet, or you want to wait?
Well, we can go in. Let's start though. So you look out of this gorgeous patio, and we have what I call you said what I called an amphitheater. But what do you call it?
We call it the educational area.
The educational area.
Yes.
And
that's what my director wanted me to call it.
The educational area, which is really, it could be an outdoor classroom. It could be an area for an actual wedding ceremony. So talk a little bit, when you walk out and that's the first thing you see along with this beautiful statue. So with the backdrop of this gorgeous lake. So talk a little bit about that.
There it is. It's right over there. I told Mike I'd try to do some of that. It's right back there. Yes, it's an amazing area, and what's unique about it is in the center of that educational area is a circle, and that circle is pressed concrete like the patio, so it blends in. That area is planned to be used for outdoor educational areas, to bring schools out here to learn about the plants and the environment, but then for them a place to sit outside. And the statue was on Lemon Street, and it's just amazing. I like it. It has greens and blacks, and then all of a sudden in the middle of it is this big red circle. So it makes you look at the statue first, but it blends in with the environment, and I think it's very nice, and it's just in the right spot. So it's unique, and the whole area is very nice. And we looked at having people could have weddings out there. It can be, the possibilities are endless. So.
Okay, let's get into one of the exciting parts is the boathouse. So,
yes,
talk a little bit about what that looks like, where it's positioned, and then what's the vision there? What's the dream?
Okay, well, the boathouse. I'll try to do another. I told Mustard I'd try to do some of this for him. Mike, there's the boathouse in the end. It is on the east side of the facility. It is not attached to the actual building itself. It's attached via patio, but it's a self-structure. The goal is to have a kayak or canoe vendor, which we're in talks with some, to be able to, when you come on the weekend, you can rent your canoe or kayak from this company, and you can go on a tour, or you can just go out and do it yourself. Now, what's unique about that is, with the vendor and the lake and the kayak and canoe, is we actually attach to Lake Parker from here. So there's a section that when you come into Lake Prego and you go into the northwest section of the lake, there's a canal that goes all the way down and enters into Lake Parker. So for those that are coming to Lakeland, or friends that are coming to Lakeland, or a wedding or whatever, it will be a good trip for them to explore and see the wildlife and see what's going on around Lakeland and explore two amazing lakes.
Now, with the boathouse, visitors will be able to rent kayaks and canoes, as well as there will be a vendor component as well. Correct? So, yes. Talk a little bit about those options.
So, what we're asking of the vendor is to supply the canoes and kayaks, either rent them or have tours that they'll be able to access at the hours that the vendor has. We're also asking the vendor to have supplies if you want to purchase them, or you want to purchase a canoe from them, or you want to purchase, something for along the way. It also is being looked at for kayak fishing also, which is another big thing that's new and up and coming. And I think that'd be a great opportunity for the vendor. The vendor is exploring all the areas and that they can attribute and help out. They will be working hand in hand with our staff here. But they are separate, so they have their own office. They have their own boathouse, and we will make sure that if we are not available, that there will still be restrooms available for the vendor and the vendor's customers and stuff. So we're excited about it, and we're hoping everything works out, and we're looking forward to it.
Okay, then there is this beautiful floating dock. Talk a little bit about that, and that's a little bit unique. The story that wasn't the original vision. So talk a little bit about how that was morphed and what the final product is now.
So the dock, it was going to be a composite kind of wood, plastic wood that. Sorry, I got bugs flying on me. I'm at Crago, so outdoors, nature, that's what happens. So we had a sidewalk that was going to the dock, and we discovered when it rains really hard that the water would have to go over the sidewalk. So we built like a little mini boardwalk before the dock starts, and it is a floating dock, and it is very unique in the fact that it's 100 feet long. It's very nice. You probably see it earlier. It is out there right there. It is 100 feet long. It does have reflectors on it, so if people with boats are coming at dusk or later on in the night, they will be able to reflect and see it. Like I said, it's floating. It is an all-purpose dock. We're going to use it for everything that we can. If we even have to use it as a classroom area, we're going to do that. Ashley was out there, and it's just amazing just listening to all the birds and insects and creatures out there. And then we also have some friends that come by. There's one that's at 6 foot, another one that's 11 feet. But they come by once in a while, and it's nice just to see everything on the dock and how it's come about. And it's a very unique dock, and we like it, and it's good for the building.
And you even talked about doing some outdoor yoga on the floating dock potentially too. So it's just the possibilities are really endless. Like you said, it's just such a unique and great addition to Lakeland. Yeah. One of the things that we haven't talked about is there are trails, there are walking trails, and then there are lockers and vending machines too that will always be open. So tell us a little bit about how people can use, how visitors can use those accommodations as well.
Absolutely. So the building hours are not set yet. We're still working on that. However, we will be open. If we're not open, the building will be open if the vendor's here. The only time that it would be closed if the vendor's not here and we're not here, then the building's closed. But if the vendor's open and we are open, there's a breezeway that comes in off the lake into the bathrooms where we will have drink machines and vending machines. And we also have lockers that you can program yourself, so you can put your own code in there. So if you're going on a kayak thing and you want to leave something in your car, you want to leave it inside, you're more than welcome to. It's a nice feature for everyone. We don't know how many people are going to use it, but it's a nice feature for us to have for the public.
And Mike and I got a little bit excited, and maybe some of our audience will get excited as well. In the bathrooms, the sinks are super cool. So, and it's actually a sustainable feature for the park. So, tell our listeners about that.
All right. So I get excited about the little things, as I told Ashley, and for some you're like, oh, big deal. But we also try to save money as much as possible working in city government. So we got sinks that when you put your motion sensor, everyone has those nowadays pretty much. And usually those motion sensors are usually activated by batteries that are underneath the sink. Well, sometimes when you're working on the sink or using your sink and it doesn't come out, it's because the batteries are running low. The new feature that John and Pam got was it's a sink where it's motion censored, and when the water runs, it recharges the batteries, so the rechargeable batteries to run the water, which is good for the environment and good for us. Like I said, it's a little thing, and I know those things, and I tell people on the tour those things, but it's good for us to have that kind of stuff to help with the environment and help with everything else.
I love that all of the little details and all of the big details were really thought of with this project.
Yeah.
Do you want to share a little bit about the long-term vision and what else we might see in the future at Lake Crago Park?
Sure. I'm also going to go back for a second because there's one area I forgot, which was huge, a rental area, was the patio. in between the large room and the boathouse is a nice covered patio area with fans where we will have furniture in there for you to have an outdoor reception and do outdoor classes. And that's all stamped concrete, so it looks like you're on a boardwalk doing whatever you're going to be doing, walking, sitting, drinking, eating. But go back to Ashley's question. So like I said, this is a 100-acre park. This building is only 12,000 square feet, so there's a lot more room available. The plans right now, like I said before, this was going to be something else. So the plans right now, as you keep driving past the outdoor recreation facility, we do plan on having 3 or 4 multi-purpose fields, along with a playground and bathrooms. And then we also plan on having 3 to 4 baseball or softball fields, for kids to play baseball, basketball, or softball. And we have more property back there also. So we talked about, the talk is putting in walking trails or running trails. Disc golf is another big thing that we've been looking at. So our possibilities are endless. And as our funds come in and we are able to use those funds, we will use them appropriately for what is the need of the citizens of Lakeland. And we will do what we can to help everybody out.
Mike, you alluded to it a little bit, but when do we anticipate the park opening? What's a roundabout time?
With everything that's going on, we still have, aside from the medical stuff that's going on from, numbers of people being able to gather and stuff, we do have some supplies we are waiting for because of that we are waiting for. So I have not gotten a firm date from anybody yet, but I'm imagining September would be when we start letting people in and start trying to do some programs and classes. Rentals will be based on our city commission and by the CDC and the health department when we're able to put more people in. Like I said, this is a unique facility, and we want to open it up as soon as we can, but we want to be safe about it too.
Finally, one of the things that I love most about you is how passionate you are about this park and others in our community and this community as a whole. Why do you love doing what you do?
Well, I'm from Wisconsin, so and we had lots of green space up there, but that's what it was. It was green space. There wasn't anything on it. It was just a lot of just paths and trails and nothing else with it. When I moved down here and started with Parks and Recreation, I did not know about Cali Rec. I started at Simpson Park. So as I got to explore what the citizens have and what people take advantage of, I was just amazed, and I'm happy about it. I'm in the service industry, and we do what we can to make others happy. And I like opening a building like this just to see people when they walk in the door, like watching your face and watching the other people when I give them a tour. And, I make that big room the last room, the entrance, just seeing your faces and just looking around of something that the city has given us and for the citizens is amazing. And it makes me happy. Like I said, seeing a smile on someone's face or seeing a smile on a kid's face, playing at, the park or playing tennis or playing basketball, that's what I enjoy doing. Otherwise I wouldn't be here for 18 years. But it's an amazing place to work. I enjoy it, and I enjoy everything that I do, and I enjoy the people I work for.
Mike, you are such an asset to our community, and our Parks and Rec, it's one of the many things that is so recognizable when people come into our city and they take it in for the first time. It's one of the first things that people are so impressed by. And I'm thankful for people like you. I'm thankful that the city and Parks and Rec invest in this area of our community. So thank you. And really, I wanted to reiterate, we aren't doing this place justice, right? People really need to come out there and see it for themselves. It is phenomenal. It is such a gem. It's going to be such a gem for our city. So thank you. Thank you again for your time today. Thank you for all you do for our community. We appreciate you.
Listen Lakeland is brought to you as a collaborative project between Lakeland Vision, the City of Lakeland, and Hall Communications. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.